Psalm 85 verse 10 tells us, "Steadfast love and faithfulness meet, righteousness and peace kiss each other." That's not just poetic language, it's a picture of how God's character holds tension without contradiction. Wrath, justice, and mercy are not separate forces struggling against one another. They are woven together in a way that makes each one fuller, richer, and more complete. The problem is we tend to separate them. We think of wrath as anger and punishment, justice as cold legalism, and mercy as soft indulgence. And when we pull them apart like that, they lose their true meaning. Wrath without justice becomes reckless vengeance. Justice without mercy becomes cruel and rigid. Mercy without wrath becomes empty permissiveness. But when they come together, they create something far greater than any one of them alone. This is what Psalm 85 is getting at. These attributes don't just sit next to each other. They meet. They embrace. Righteousness and peace kiss. They don't weaken each other. They enhance each other. Wrath makes mercy meaningful. Justice gives mercy depth. Mercy makes justice more than punishment. It all holds together, and it holds together in God. And that's the real misunderstanding we have about wrath. People think wrath is the opposite of love. But the opposite of love isn't wrath, it's indifference. Wrath is actually a form of love. It's what happens when love refuses to stand by and watch what is evil destroy what is good. A loving parent watching their child spiral into self-destruction doesn't respond with indifference. They don't just shrug and say, "Well, as long as they're happy." No, love rises up, love burns. Love says, "I refuse to let you destroy yourself." That's wrath. It's not the rejection of the child, it's the rejection of what is harming the child. That's why the Bible calls God a consuming fire, not a reckless fire, not a fire that destroys for the sake of destruction, a refining fire, a fire that burns away what is wicked so that what is pure can remain. That's why wrath is never the end of the story. If wrath were all there was, we would have been wiped away long ago. But wrath works in harmony with mercy. The cross of Christ is the ultimate proof of this. At the cross, the full weight of God's wrath against sin was poured out. Justice was satisfied, but not by destroying sinners, by absorbing sin's penalty in himself. Mercy was extended to the guilty, not because justice was ignored, but because it was fulfilled. Paul says in Romans that God is both just and the justifier of the one who has faith in Jesus. Wrath, justice, and mercy meet at the cross, and in that meeting, love is revealed. This isn't just theology, it's a pattern for our lives. God's discipline, when we experience it, is never meant to destroy us. It is always meant to refine us, to restore us, to shape us into the people He calls us to be. When we extend mercy to others, we're not ignoring justice. We're trusting that God's justice is ultimately redemptive. And when we pursue justice, we must do so with mercy, or else we risk becoming the very oppressors we seek to confront. This is why Micah calls us to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with our God, to live in that tension, to trust that God's character holds it all together, even when we can't see how. This is the beauty of divine tension. Wrath ensures that mercy is not empty sentimentality. Justice ensures that wrath is not reckless. Mercy ensures that justice is not lifeless. And for those who trust in Christ, the consuming fire of God is not our destruction, it is our refinement. Wrath, justice, and mercy meet in love, and in that meeting we are restored.